Woe is me, I am undone. My eyes have seen the King. I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell amongst a people of unclean lips. Then the angel came, took a coal from the altar, touched my lips, and said, your sin is taken away. And then God said, who will go for us? Whom shall I send? And I said, here am I, Lord, send me. I'm giving you a paraphrase of the book of Isaiah, chapter 6. As I have pondered the gap between orthodoxy and orthopraxy, I have come to a bunch of conclusions as to why this gap exists and why there is a collapse of courage. And I think one of the reasons is because we feel unworthy. We feel like hypocrites. And there is validity to that. In other words, if I'm stealing, should I say, thou shalt not steal? Well, yes, that is hypocritical. However, the commandment, thou shalt not steal, is still valid. Even if you struggle, or I struggle with a sin, the righteous standard remains the same. The problem comes when someone says, well, it's really not a sin. Everyone does it. Ah, don't worry, it's no big deal. That's the problem. Having temptation, falling sometimes, getting back up, asking God's forgiveness, being cleansed by the blood of Jesus, going forward. This is a part of life. But the fear that I have is that we're sated and dissipated at the same time. And it keeps us from proclaiming the church. Now, sated, what I mean by that is we're full. We're just full with the wave after wave of the barrage of things that are coming at us on TV, on the internet, on our smartphones. And, you know, you go to look at a story about ISIS, and on the side is all of this gossip stuff. And you know, the worst blooper photos of all time. And then before you know it, you've squandered time and you've become sated with this garbage, with nonsense. But also at the same time, our souls are dissipated. There's something drained from us, a strength, a valor, a spiritual vitality. And I think that that is part of the reason why there are so few people that are still speaking out against evil. And think of Psalm 51. David had committed adultery with Bathsheba and had used the sword of the Hittite to kill Uriah, or used the sword of battle to kill Uriah the Hittite. And God confronted him, David repented. And David in the Psalm talked about God restoring him. And he said, and then I will teach sinners your ways. I will teach transgressors your paths. Look at that. You go, whoa. Well, David, you don't have the authority to teach anymore. You're disqualified. No. He repented. And then he could say, don't do this. This is going to hurt you. It is a horrible sin. Think of Peter. The one sin that Jesus said would cause someone to go to hell was denying him. Remember that? Jesus said, if you deny me before men, I will deny you before the Father and before the angels of heaven. So what did Peter do? He denied Christ. He denied the Lord. And what did Jesus do? He forgave him. He said, Peter, feed my sheep, feed my lambs. Church tradition has it that Peter's face had lines going down it for the rest of his life, and they just got deeper and deeper because he would weep. Weep because of his denial of the Lord. But God still used him. God still used Peter to be the first pastor of the church, without question. Used Peter to bring in the Gentiles. Used Peter to bring in the Jews. Peter was ultimately martyred for his faith. the reason I bring up David and the reason I bring up Peter and the reason I bring up Isaiah is Isaiah felt it. Isaiah said, woe is me, I'm a man of unclean lips. I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. So God touched his lips. The angel took the coal, touched his lips, cleaned him, and said, now go, be my spokesman. The simple fact of the matter is that the feet shod with good news, those feet are feet of clay. And that human beings who are sinners are the ones that God uses to herald his truth. So whatever your struggle is, whatever your sin is, if you're sated, if you're dissipated, if you feel guilty, whatever it is, don't allow that to keep you from declaring the truth, from defending the truth. Because if all of us grow fearful and quiet and silent because of the sins that nag at our own consciences, then the truth will have no one to be its advocate. And we're doomed. And the bad guys who have lies and tyranny, who've taken the field of battle, they'll win just because we didn't fight. Think about it. Say like Isaiah did, here am I, Lord, send me. I have been a leader in the pro-life movement for 30 years. And sadly, we have not prevailed in our goal to make it a criminal act to kill an unborn baby. There's reasons why we have failed. I wrote this book, A Humble Plea, to Catholic bishops, to evangelical clergy, and to lay people, explaining where we went wrong and what we have to do to prevail. We've made this available as a PDF online for free. I encourage you to go and download your own copy. Why does a nice guy like me keep getting thrown in jail? I have been arrested almost 50 times and spent over a year of my life locked up in various prison facilities. And I wrote a book, many books. In fact, one of them is called, Why Does a Nice Guy Like Me Keep Getting Thrown in Jail? It's a theological work, answering those who say that the church should not be involved in politics or that we should retreat. I encourage you to get it. In fact, get one and give it to your pastor.